What's up, y'all? We're back. Make sure this is low volume. We are. Okay, we're good. So, we're here. Like I said, I am going to be recording these out of order because I started doing videos at Cloister, blah, 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 blah. If you're new here, hi, welcome. If you are not new here, this is all going to be new. Not this first, like, 2 minute little spiel is going to be new information you probably know already. But point being, I am doing these out of order, so I'm going to be staggering the first 49 videos that I haven't done yet for Kanto because all of the Pokemon before Cloister I did not record videos for. So I will be slowly, as I do the new Johto Pokemon, which are new, meaning I have not done those on the streets yet. As I finish these guys up, I'm going to be recording videos for Kanto Pokemon in between, just to make it easier on myself rather than doing them all at once because I would want to kill myself by the end of all that crap, man. Oh my god, I would hate to do all those videos at once, which is what I was originally planning on doing until when somebody told me, bro, just stagger them, and I was like, yo, that's a good ass idea. So that's what I'm doing. But we are with a new Pokemon. So Typhlosion. First things first, no dual type. I know a lot of people like dual typing on Typhlosion. I know a lot of people want fire ground type on Typhlosion. I don't see it. And I know that is coming from the guy who puts a lot of controversial type changes, but I just don't see it. I mean, I would do it because it's not. I don't see it, but I also think it's fine. You know, especially in a hack like this, like it's fine. Like I'll do it, but there's an issue with overlap, a big issue actually. So my issue was, well, obviously Camera Up is there. Camera Up is going to be fucking god tier. I can't wait to get Camera Up. So then there are two other new fire ground types. I will keep one of them a secret for now, but the other one was going to be Entei, because Entei actually literally summons volcanoes. So like, oh god, I have to type in like okay, Typhlosion. It's the volcano Pokemon species wise, and it gets lava plume and it gets eruption, but it's not actually like a volcano Pokemon. Like it's just, I think it's just a flavor, but it doesn't actually like live in volcanoes or like summon volcanoes or anything like that. Meanwhile, Entei is literally like Entei literally makes volcanoes erupt when it roars. Like this is definitely a volcano. Like he has a smoke trail. Like he is very much fire ground. Makes much more sense. He's also the embodiment of it. Also, all three of the dogs will be, or not dogs, the beasts rather, will be dual typed. But yeah, I know that's weird because Gator is another dual type, and I'll have to get into the Gator video because that's another Pokemon I wouldn't mind. Honestly, I wouldn't have minded if all three of the Johto starters were pure typed. I actually like them being pure typed, but Meganium would be horribly overlapped with Tangrowth if I kept it as pure grass. It would be very mid if I kept it as pure grass type. It just wouldn't be that good. Yeah, it has some things over Tangrowth, has more special defense to it and whatnot, but it's just overall too similar. So Fairy is kind of necessary on Meganium to make it stand out, and therefore I may as well do the dark type on Gator. And then you might be thinking, okay, well, to do ground on Typhlosion, I just don't see it. And then again, also it overlaps too much with Typhlosion. Another thing I had considered was to make Typhlosion Fire Ground and then make Entei Fire Rock or something like that. That would be kind of interesting. But ultimately, I decided, fuck that. I'm keeping him pure fire. I think it's more unique. I think it's more fitting, and also it's cool. I mean, like, yeah, having ground step would be huge, but I just don't really see it, man. He's very like basic. He doesn't even like. I know people always say, "Oh, the badgers dig in the ground." Da, 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 da. He's not even really. He's just a monster. Yeah, he looks like he has the body plan of a bear. Yeah, the pre-evolutions are kind of like mouse. Like I know it says mouse here, so yeah, he's a mouse. They're porcupines or whatever the fuck. Like there are a bunch of different animals, but it's not like they're ground-dwelling badgers. Like they're not like they actually dig in the ground. Although I had to get them digging ground moves, but level up. So that's another thing is to compensate for not being ground type. I still gave them ground moves. So typical ROM hack bullshit. Oh, earth power and all that stuff. But I also give them a lot of other new stuff. So I'll get into that in a second. But that's just I wanted to get that out of the way. I think that's probably one of the most controversial things about this line is the typing or lack of dual typing. So that's the answer. I hope that answers anybody's concerns with it. I understand if you wanted the fire ground Typhlosion, like I get it, but I just don't see it personally. Also, this is not even. Hold on. Here we go. Yeah, that's still kind of uneven. Is this gonna fuck up the? No, it did. God damn it. So, despite not being okay, this is like. There we go. That's good. So, yeah, despite not being dual typed, Typhlosion is excellent now. Truly excellent. So, you might have noticed. Actually, I'll just get into that Charizard video, but they don't have the same stats anymore, obviously, because that was stupid. So big thing. So pre-evolutions are just very self-explanatory. They're faster and stronger, and they have Blaze and Flash Fire, both of which are useful abilities. You can use ability capsules, switch between them, blah blah blah. It's very basic, very fitting, but very basic. Blaze is great with Endure sets as well. Endure Blaze is amazing. Sash with Blaze is amazing. You know, Endure plus Pataya Blaze. I mean, it's strong as hell. And then you have Flash Fire just for the immunity, which is really nice because you're not that bulky. And if you were bulky, it's still nice to be completely immune to such a strong, you know, what a type that has a lot of strong moves. And to get the fire boost on your moves is nice. So it's nice to have both options. You switch between them. Very self-explanatory. You evolve at 36 into Typhlosion, and this is where it gets interesting. So Typhlosion is it's technically a mixed attacker, but it's far more specially leaning. So what the fuck? That audio just threw me off in this video. Anyway, Typhlosion has a very fitting. What was I going to moves for? There was a reason. Oh no, I was going to the dex entry. So Typhlosion, the dex entries make it sound super strong. I mean, read these. Like, it causes huge explosions, a secret devastating move. The heat causes the air around it to shimmer. You might be thinking, oh, we'll give it drought. So the elemental monkeys will have drought, drizzle, and grassy surge. And Flareon has drought, and Leafeon has grassy surge, and Vaporeon has drizzle. And those two aren't that big of a deal when they overlap because number one, they have a different secondary ability. Number two, they have way different move pools. Not way different, but different enough move pools. And number three, the stats are much different because Vaporeon, Flareon, and Leafeon to a lesser extent, but Flareon and Vaporeon are very bulky, not that quick. Meanwhile, the monkeys are quick and not bulky at all. So that is the main difference between them. So that overlap doesn't matter. But there's even more purifier types actually, because Torkoal will also be having drought, and obviously they are the bulkiest if you don't count Fluffy on because you can't run drought and Fluffy at the same time on Flareon. So Torkoal is by far the bulkiest drought user. So to have Typhlosion in there as well, it's just very redundant. It becomes too much overlap. It's way too similar to Simisear if I give it drought. And so I gave it two much more unique and cool abilities that also fit very well. So 128 base special attack is incredible. 94 attack is pretty fitting. I mean, look at him. He's a big old bear looking thing. He's got, you can hit. He already has like earthquake and shit. It makes sense, to have a solid attack stat, a good physical attack stat. And again, I'll get into the mix sets in a little bit because they are great, despite how big of a difference the two stats have. I believe it's a 34 base stat difference. So it's mixed, and that's kind of saying that's being generous, but I'll cover why physical sets are still very good. You can probably already tell, the trained eye might be able to just look at the moves and be like, oh yeah, it gets the moves earlier. It makes sense, but I'll get into that in more detail in a little bit. Also, coverage is much better physically, much better. Not to say that it has terrible coverage, especially because it actually has enough. It has enough now, but I'll get into that in a little bit. So, am I recording? God, please tell me I am. Okay, I am. So, a little bit of speed boost. Speed is kind of weird on him. He doesn't look that fast. It's mostly just for bouncing. He just kind of needs the speed. He just appreciates the 104 base speed. There's no real logic for it. I mean, he already had 100 base speed. I can see him run a little bit quicker, so it's fine. It's not the weirdest thing. That puts him below. You guys can look at the speed tier guide yourself, but this is where he stands for currently. And obviously there'll be more and more mons added to this as we go. So yeah, that's really nice to have. And again, 128 special attack is huge. So what you have is two awesome abilities, both of which will give you special attack boost, and you can sweep or snowball very easily with these abilities. So Berserk fits very well given Blastoise's whole, he's an angry fucker, he's rage peaks, he creates shimmers of intense fire, blah blah blah. It's very fitting to have Berserk on Typhlosion. He's going on a rampage, whatever, it fits. And Berserk is excellent. So you have respectable bulk. I did decrease the bulk just for base stat total reasons because they need more offense, and also just because it makes more sense. So you still have respectable 78, 72, 73 bulk. You're not paper thin. If you invest into that bulk, you can actually take some hits pretty nicely with your Purifier typing and your Morning Sun for recovery. So, and also Drain Punch, but mostly Morning Sun. So Morning Sun plus Berserk is a great combination because you can essentially get multiple Berserk boosts over and over again by clicking Morning Sun and just having, say for example, you're fighting a Meganium and they clicking Earth Power, and Earth Power is doing about 60% hypothetically. You can just, and you're faster than it. Then you just click Morning Sun 5 times, spam all 5 PP. Now you're +5 special attack. Boom. you know, obviously you don't even need to use all 5 of your Morning Suns, but you guys get the idea, all right? You can really rack up boosts really easily that way. Berserk sets are also excellent with Focus Sash and, again, Endure. It's kind of similar to Blaze in that sense, only you can cycle it over and over again, and it gives you a special attack boost flat instead of just making your fire move stronger. So that's amazing. Berserk is a great ability in Typhlosion. 128 speed. You can run like a Berserk plus a Salakberry set. That is devastating. With Berserk, Salak, and Endure, which is, again, a TM, you can get the Endure off, get to, you know, Berserk range pretty easily, and then go to town with your +1 special attack and +1 speed, and again, go to fucking town. Another thing you can do is with your other ability. So Berserk logically fits very well. Hubris, oh my god, he's plagiarizing Pokemon Insurgents. Oh my goodness, is this foreshadowing for the Pokemon Insurgents hack that will come out in 2039? Yes, it is. No, I borrowed a couple of names from Insurgents. I think I borrowed Draco Jet too, just because I originally had his Draco Strike, and I was like, man, fuck it. It's not like that's the most original name anyways. I'll just fucking take the name. So that's what I did. I think there's one more thing I took from Insurgents, but yeah, Hubris is taken from Insurgents. And what that does, it functions the same in single battles, although it is slightly better because you don't have to actively knock the Pokemon out to get the boost in singles. So for example, not super relevant in this case because you're an offensive, like very quick Pokemon, but like if you were toxicking them and they died, or they killed themselves from recoil, say they killed themselves with Life Orb, or they use Explosion, whatever it is, as long as you send in Typhlosion when something on the field faints, you will get a +1 special attack boost. And logically, that used to bother me because it's like, oh, you know, it's kind of weird. But actually, it kind of makes sense because Hubris and Moxie are basically just like, hey, this motherfucker is overconfident, or this motherfucker is like kind of aggressive or full of themselves, or whatever it is. And I think that having Hubris would mean that, yeah, if something dies, you kind of get a boost, like, oh shit, they died, I'm feeling myself now. Or even your ally dies, oh shit, now I'm like feeling superior to them, you know? So something died, I feel superior, I'm gonna get a boost. It's a little bit of a reach, but it doesn't bother me as much as it used to, so hopefully that explains it for anybody else, because this is technically the first video Pokemon that has Hubris, although I will be doing Slowking and Persian videos that also have Hubris currently, and there will of course be much more Pokemon that get Hubris. But Berserk is great, and Hubris are both great. The beautiful thing is you again have infinite ability capsules, so all you have to do is just switch the ability based on the situation. So Berserk is great because you don't need to kill something to get the boost, and Hubris is great because you can kill something and snowball the boost. So again, just pick and choose. Both abilities are great in different situations. It really just depends on what you need. And with Hubris, again, 104 base speed, you can still run speed boosting sets. You can run a Salakberry set with Hubris, or you can run a agility set with Hubris, or you can run a Flame Wheel set with Hubris. Despite Flame Wheel as being physical, it still is 60 base power and gives you +1 speed upon use. And this is a good transition to talk about the physical options for Typhlosion, and then I'll talk about special options. But physically, it's great. Physically, it is, despite having 34 less attack and, you know, whatever, you still have much more coverage and really, really powerful moves early on. So what I did is I gave them Flame Wheel early on. So they have Flame Wheel, 60 base power, physical move, +1 speed. You can use it on special sets too, of course, but it's good on physical sets. You have Hone Claws and Workup for setup early game. And then later on, you will get access to other great stuff. So Raging Fury at 28, that is a 50 base power move that gives you +1 attack. And if you move second, meaning if the opponent hits you first, it becomes 100 base power, and it still gives +1 attack. So that's immensely powerful. And obviously, both of Typhlosion's abilities are relatively useless for physical sets, although I'll get into something interesting in a second, because you can actually abuse Power Trip with Berserk and Hubris, despite not being a physical attacker. Despite those abilities only boosting special attack, you still get the boost to Power Trip's base power. So that's really cool to have, but I'm a little ahead of myself. So, Morning Sun is nice for setup sets as well. Violet, Quilava can run it as well if you want, you know, whatever you need to do. But, you know, Defense Curl Morning Sun is kind of niche, but it's there. But your main options are, again, Raging Fury and Flame Wheel, so you can get +1 attack and +1 speed with your stab moves, and your special attack is higher, but it's not like your attack is bad. You know, you have a good physical attack set on both Quilava and Typhlosion for those points in the game. So that's really nice to have. And you have access to Flail Reversal, which are just niche little things you can do with like a Blaze set, for example, like a Blaze Quilava with Endure and Reversal, and like Raging Fury and Flame Wheel. Like you can really go to town with that. You know, you got the Fire type, 200 base power. Sorry, fighting type 200 base power move at 1 HP with the blaze range, and then you got the blaze boosted Raging Fury and the flame wheel to boost your attack and speed. It's niche, but it's there, it's fun, and it's early on, so very powerful. When you evolve, you get Scary Face. So you have utility. You know, you have Scary Face, which drops speed by 2 and attack by 1. You have Leer, which is -2 defense. You know, normal utility crap like that. You know, Parting Shot, which a lot of stuff gets now. Most things get Parting Shot by TM now. And then at level 38 for physical Typhlosion, you get Roar, which is significantly earlier than you get the Swords Dance TM, which I also gave them. So physically, they have Swords Dance and Bulk Up on top of Flame Wheel and Raging Fury for setup. And then I'm going to get into it. They have even more in a little bit. So Z Roar gives you +2 attack. And changes I made to Roar and Whirlwind is that they now only have 1 PP, but they are +1 priority. So reason being, you kind of use them as like forced switches, like, oh, I want to set up on this opponent, but their lead is really, really strong against me, or they have taunt or whatever the fuck it is. You click Roar, you get that +2 attack boost. You can then bulk up on whatever the fuck you roar at, or you can just start killing shit, you know, with the +2 attack boost. It's free. Swords Dance is not free. Roar is free. It's a free +2 attack. Literally, all you have to do is use your Z move, and you get the priority. You switch them out of the battle. It's a little hard. It's kind of difficulties because you could also bring something in that's stronger against you, but you know that's why you have to use it in the right situation. But it's very good to have both for utility and for offensive setup. Roar is great on Typhlosion, and at level 38, it's very early to get a +2 attack boosting move, so that's great to have for physical Typhlosion as well. You know, you have Battle Cry for utility as well. That's -2 to both of the offenses. That's nice to have on top of with Scary Face. You know, it's a nice option over Scary Face. Depends on what you want. And then at 44, you get access to Power Trip, and I've covered this in a billion change guides. I hope you guys know by now, but if you are new here, I will cover it quickly. Power Trip now gives +1 attack after each use, meaning you get +20 base power for each use of Power Trip, and you get a +1 attack boost with each use. The downside being it's only 3 PP, but that's literally just because otherwise it would be ridiculously overpowered, and you could sweep every single fucking boss fight with Power Trip and Sword Power. It would be really, really stupid and overpowered if it had more than 3 PP. 3 PP is plenty. That's killing. If you are boosted up, that's half a team dead, and then you still have another move slot to kill the rest of the team with. You know, so it's great, and you're using that mostly for power and boosting. So you can go raw Power Trip if you'd like, but I would probably recommend doing it with Raging Fury and Flame Wheel to get the higher base power. And then you can use Raging Fury. So Raging Fury. My point is that Power Trip goes really nicely with Berserk and Hubris, despite not technically benefiting from a special attack boost. You could also run a mixed set with Power Trip and Hubris. I mean, that's really viable as well. I mean, mixed sets are great. You know, there might be a Pokemon on the opponent's team that has super bulky on one side, and then another Pokemon on their team is super bulky on the other side. So you want to hit both sides. You know, you want to hit them with that Pyro Plume in addition to that, whatever. I mean, you know, with the physical move, whatever the fuck it is. So that's nice to have, to be able to switch between your physical and physical attacking sets or use both at once. And another big pro is that you have a lot more coverage that I'll get to after I talk about the boosting stuff, because you have way more coverage physically than you have specially, which is a big deal. So again, Power Trip. So one of the great things you can do with Power Trip is you can use Howl or Belly Drum, but especially Howl. So Howl is now a Swords Dance and a Nasty Plot in one move. So it's 1 PP, just like Nasty Plot and Swords Dance, but it gives you +2 to both. So it's kind of like the downside is that it's not a TM, right? So that's the big downside. It's not a TM, like unlike Swords Dance and Nasty Plot. So for example, you can switch between these two moves and also switch off of, you know, you don't want to set up this battle. You want to run a Scarf set, you want to run a Spec set, you want to run a bulky set, whatever it is. For each battle, you know, again, with infinite ability capsules and infinite EV training and infinite TMs and tutor moves, you have so much customizability, so much flexibility in your move sets, and what you can do is customize that. But with Howl, you're kind of stuck with it until you then teach Nasty Plot Swords Dance over it if you need to ditch Howl for some reason. But what Howl does is it gives you 4 boosts. It gives you +2 attack and special attack, meaning Power Trip after a single use of Howl becomes 100 base power. So one singular Howl gives you +2 attack, and then Power Trip becomes 100 base power dark type move. And then if you kill them, you basically this is a hypothetical, right? You're running a Hubris set with Howl and Power Trip. You get a +1 boost each time you kill something with Hubris. You get a +1 boost each time you kill something with each time you click Power Trip, and you get the +2 from Howl. Sorry, +4 from Howl. So you do the math. Power Trip becomes extremely powerful with Howl in conjunction with Hubris, even though you're not running a special set. And again, mixed sets are very viable as well. So hopefully that covers that. And at level 48, you get Belly Drum too, which is really, really great. Belly Drum plus Flame Wheel or Pyro Dash, so physical priority and Pyro Dash, or speed boosting physical move with Flame Wheel with Belly Drum. I mean, that's extremely useful and very powerful. And you can also use that in conjunction with Hubris and Power Trip, because you get +6 attack with that, and that means Power Trip is immediately 140 base power. And then if you get a Hubris boost as well, that's so. Let's say hypothetical, you click Belly Drum, right? You then click Power Trip on the next turn and kill something. That means you get +20 base power. So that means you get a +1 attack, all right? So you're already at +6 attack. You get another, or actually that won't work because you're at +6 attack already, but you will get a +1 special attack from Hubris if you kill something. That makes the next Power Trip stronger. So you guys get the idea, right? You can really snowball out of control with Typhlosion. It's a great sweeper. You also have access to agility for speed boosting, and one of the greatest things, I'm gonna get into it, but late level you are powerful with your speed tier and your special attack set and Berserker Hubris. So late game, you can literally just be brainless and just run Scarf Hubris with Eruption and just boom, 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 boom. 5 PP, 5 mons dead. If there's no fire resist on the team, they boom, or Scarf set, Spec set, Hubris, snowball out of control. It's very, very good. So that's amazing. That's why it's at level 70, because Eruption is insane. Inferno, you have a tons of other really great fire moves as well, but I'll cover those in a little bit. Physically, you also get your physical stab much earlier. So on top of getting all that great stuff physically, you also get access to Precipice Blades, because again, Volcano Pokemon. Precipice Blades in general is a much more generalized move. If you guys aren't familiar with my work, the signature moves are usually utility moves that the animations don't fit any Pokemon. Otherwise, also give me 2 seconds. I'm actually gonna take my hoodie off, and I have to take my headset off to do that really quick. I'm extremely hot. Give me 2 seconds. All right, I am back. So, what was I saying? Precipice Blades. So yeah, no more signature moves, and if they are much less frequent, and they are not offensive moves. Typically, they are utility moves or stat boosting moves that are signature, because the animations don't fit that Pokemon. But Precipice Blades is just big hot red rock that comes out the ground, so it's like totally fitting for a bunch of other mons. What else? There is Flare Blitz at 54 is 125 base power and has a 30% or 25%. I forget exactly. I kind of tweaked a lot of the burn and paralysis rates because they used to be way too high. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. I would be so chaotic if everything had 30% burn rate. So toxic. So I changed that on a bunch of things if you guys aren't up to date. But yeah, high burn rate, all right, is the point. 25% recoil only, and physical Typhlosion can actually run Shell Bell as well if you want, if you're worried about the recoil. So what you can do is Shell Bell heals now by 20%. So Flare Blitz, you only take 5% recoil with Shell Bell, and then your coverage moves with Play Rough, Wild Charge, Rock Climb, and Takedown, which are all 110 base power, you take 0 recoil from those. So Shell Bell's a great option to have, although, recoil isn't as big a deal as people make it out to be. You just got to be smart with when you click it. And you can also literally just do the math if you want and see how much HP you're going to take, so you know that you're not going to kill yourself. Some people don't like calcing or being super strategic mid-battle, and that's totally understandable, and I respect it. But for those of you who are into that kind of thing, then yeah, recoil moves are a lot better for you. But some people just want to click buttons, and that's totally understandable. And if you're not doing an Nuzlocke, then recoil move away. Just make sure you don't kill your Pokemon before it's if you need it for the rest of the battle. So yeah, you have that, and then you get Blazing Assault at level 60, which is so basically what I've done with recoil moves. If you guys are not familiar, if you're new here, or if you just need a reminder, you got these 150 base power recoil moves. So these ones are essentially close combat in conjunction with 25% recoil, and they're 150 base power, 100% accurate. Then you have these 125 base power ones, which have additional effects, but they're weaker than these ones, and of course they are learned earlier than these ones. And then you have the 110 base power. All of these are TMs besides Dragon Hammer. I actually have considered making Dragon Hammer 125, but Dragon Rush is Dragon type close combat, so it's kind of unnecessary. So yeah, that's great stuff. It's really, really good stuff. Physically, it has that Overheat, especially is recoil as well. So that's the only special recoil move it has, though. But it's not bad. I mean, Overheat is great. Very powerful, very high burn rate, naturally accurate. If you're wondering what I did with actual overheats effect, meaning the -2 special attack moves, those are Blast Burn, Frenzy Plant, Leaf Storm, Hydro Cannon, etc. Those Hyper Beam, all the moves that used to be recharge, and then a bunch of other random moves that I thought fit are now -2 moves. In addition, Land's Wrath is another move I gave Typhlosion that I was kind of on the fence about, but fuck it, man. I mean, he is technically the Volcano Pokemon, so why not give him Land's Wrath? It's cool. It's very strong. So he has Scorching Sands and Earth Power by TM earlier on, which are good ground type special options. Despite not being stabbed, they're still powerful and nice to have. Scorching Sands being slightly weaker, but having a better additional effect. And Earth Power being stronger and having a good additional effect still. And then Land's Wrath is very powerful, 150 base power, -2 special attack. 2 Land's Wraths in a row is still highly outdamaging 2 Earth Powers in a row. 2 Land's Wraths in a row is 225 base power total, while 2 Earth Powers in a row is 180. So that's hopefully putting in perspective. Land's Wrath is great on it for ground type coverage, especially obviously. Of course, physically you have Precipice Blades, you have Earthquake. Precipice Blades has a high burn rate and is 90% accurate, I believe. Let me triple check what I changed it to. Actually, no, it's 130 with 85% accurate, but a 30% burn rate is huge, and it's very powerful. So it's 30% stronger than Earthquake, but it's 15% less accurate than Earthquake, but it has a 30% burn rate. So that's great for like sheer force Pokemon, especially. Did I just say especially? God, especially. But it's still nice to have a Typhlosion as an option. If you need that power boost, you know. So that's that. You also have Seismic Fist and Earthquake, of course, physically. And then physically coverage-wise, so I'll go over the coverage moves and then I'll cover the really powerful stabs with Berserk and Hubris, and then I'll touch on some other random stuff that I missed maybe, and then we'll be done. So coverage moves, physically you have Brick Break, Low Kick, Drain Punch, Takedown, and Reversal for fighting type coverage. You have Thunder Punch and Wild Charge and Thunder Fang for electric physical coverage. And then you have Grass Knot for grass type physical coverage. Grass Knot is now a physical move if you guys are not familiar with my stuff. It's because the damage is dealt by tripping. So therefore, if you fucking are tripped with a little piece of grass or a little grass around your leg, you get fallen over, you're taking physical damage. I know Pokemon logic is fucking weird and I could have kept it as special, but we actually didn't have a lot of physical grass type moves, so it's nice to have that. And it's also a lot more physical attackers got Grass Knot than special, because the way it works is like you just have to tie a fucking knot made out of grass or just snare them with grass. So a lot of physical mons that have like hands and shit can do it. So that's another advantage. And also it's cool to have it as like a counterpart to Low Kick, because Grass Knot and Low Kick both do -1 speed in addition to their original effects. So Grass Knot is physical, just like Low Kick, and then both Low Kick and Grass Knot are -1 speed upon use, which is nice. So yeah, Grass Knot for physical grass coverage, fighting type coverage, steel type coverage with Iron Head, fairy type coverage in Covet and Play Rough. I already said electric type coverage, which is very important. Poison type coverage and Poison Fang, Poison Jab, and Gunk Shot. And then ground type coverage, I already covered all those. Rock type coverage with Rock Tomb, Rock Slide, and Stone Edge, which is very powerful, and Rock Climb. Physical dark coverage with Knock Off, Hell Thrust, and Sucker Punch. And Fury Swipes, I guess, early game. And then you have, oh, and also, I said Low Kick already, never mind. You have Bug type coverage physically with U-Turn, First Impression, and Lunge, all of which are very useful and powerful. You have technically have Solar Blade and Solar Beam for both sets, but that's only in the sun, obviously, which, I mean, Typhlosion's nuts in the sun. If you want to run a sun team with Typhlosion, and you got the Berserk or the Hubris, and you got the Eruption, you got the Sun boosted Hubris Eruption. I mean, yeah, it's pretty fucking nuts, of course, but of course that takes team support. Or you can click it yourself, but I wouldn't suggest. Although you could actually justify a Berserk Sash Sunny Day set, and that would be pretty good. Berserk Sunny Day Sash, get down to your Sash, get that Sunny Day up, click Solar Beam, click the Sun boosted moves, and that's pretty good. And you have Morning Sun to heal up after to get more Berserk boost after. So actually, yeah, Berserk is great with Sunny Day if you want to self set up the Sunny Day. Hubris is a bit harder, but again, there'll be situations where you can make it work for sure. Z Sunny Day also gives +2 speed up, so you can use that to live a special hit better if you're worried about getting hit hard. That's cool. So yeah, you have a lot of great. Physically, you also have Psychic Fangs and then Headbutt for psychic moves, and that's about it physically. So you get a lot more physical coverage, and then special coverage, you really are kind of limited to Focus Blast late game, which is very good. Don't get me wrong; it's 85% accurate, 130 base power, but it's late game. It's one of the last TMs you get access to in Pony Island, early Pony Island, of course. So last TM that is Totem Como Dragon Dance. So it's not like you're waiting that long for it, but you know, you're not gonna have special fighting coverage until then. But you do have access to, especially you have Sludge Bomb and Shadow Ball, which I thought were just fine. So, oh, here's another weird thing you might think is weird. They have Psychic. It is weird, but Typhlosion actually gets Extra Sensory by Egg Move. So that's justification number one, Extra Sensory by Egg Move. Number two, even more importantly, is Game Freak they don't give a fuck, dude. Magmar gets Psychic. If Magmar can use Psychic, and Typhlosion already had Extra Sensory Bag Move, I don't see why I can't just throw Psychic down there. It's nice coverage. It's very useful coverage. So, especially, you aren't super limited. It's just a lot less good than your physical coverage. You kind of just have, like, you have coverage, but you don't have coverage that hits what resists Fire type as much. Obviously, Focus Blast does, Solar Beam does, but, you know, those aren't as early game or as, or easy to use as, like, the other moves. But you still have good coverage. Like, you have Sludge Bomb, you have Earth Power is huge. Earth Power does hit with a lot of things that resist fire. You have Earth Power, which is huge. You have Sludge Bomb. You have Dark Pulse, Shadow Ball, Focus Blast, and a couple other things. Nature Power is huge. Nature Power is very, very fun. Electric Terrain is a TM, so you can run Electric Terrain on other Pokemon, and then Nature Power will turn into a 50% boosted Thunderbolt, which is awesome. You can also use that to get Moonblast in Misty Terrain, although that won't get boosted by Terrain. And you can also use that in Grassy Terrain to get Energy Ball. So Energy Ball and Thunderbolt. So, like, if you're running a Volt, what am I saying? Electric Surge or Grassy Surge Pokemon on your team, you can really use Nature Power by TM and swap, you know, teach that TM and get that Energy Ball, get that Thunderbolt. Super great. Super great for special sets, because again, both of your abilities are special attacking, and you do have more special attack. Physical sets are viable, but at the end of the day, special is obviously going to be better. It just depends on what you need. That's the best thing, is you can customize your sets. So yeah, very powerful stab moves. Fire Blast is 120 base power, 90% accurate. Searing Shot is 100 base power and 95% accurate. Fire Blast, I believe, is 25 or 20% chance to burn. I think I changed it. It used to be 30, which was way too high. I think I made it 20. Yeah, I have to change this reference text, so this is inaccurate. It's 20%. Sometimes I forget to change one of the removes, so I only change both. Or only change one of them. But yeah, Fire Blast 20%. Searing Shot is higher burn rate because it's Searing Shot. I'm pretty sure. I mean, maybe Searing Shot is. No, it is 25. Yeah, so Searing Shot has a higher burn rate than Fire Blast. Has the same burn rate as Overheat. Difference being, Searing Shot has 20 less base power and only 5% more accuracy than Fire Blast, so I would say Fire Blast is technically better, especially because you can reteach Fire Blast via TM versus Searing Shot is only level up. Heat Wave is huge, so what you can do with Heat Wave is that it always crits. So Heat Wave is 98 base power if you consider the crit. So that works great with Blast Burn. I also consider giving them Blazing Outburst, but like they already have Eruption, they don't need Blazing Outburst too. I also didn't have room for it on the level up move. Like there's just no room to put it there, so I didn't put it in. Although it does fit. I mean, he's Typhlosion, like it fits. Also would be maybe overpowered anyways, although Eruption is debatably more overpowered, although I would personally... Eruption's debatably more, yeah. Let me take a sip of water real quick. So what you can do is you can use Blast Burn, get that minus special attack. You can use Blast Burn again for 75 base power, and then you can start clicking Heat Wave and ignore your stat drops, which is really nice. Obviously, that kind of counteracts your two boosting abilities. Another thing you can do actually is counteract the stat drop from these moves by getting a boost. So you can use Blast Burn with Hubris, get a kill, and then you're only at -1 special attack, which is only a 1/3 drop, meaning that your second Blast Burn, say you would kill something in one hit with Blast Burn, your second Blast Burn is decreased by 30% as opposed to 50%. So 30% of, let's do the math, 150 times 99. That's great. I mean, that's stronger than Flamethrower. You know, that's the same power of a Searing Shot. So that has great synergy with Hubris, is my point. Great synergy with Hubris. Blast Burn. So Blast Burn is very, very powerful. I might even... Nah, it's fine. It's fine, Murderous. I was gonna say I might move it level up wise, but it's at a good level. these don't really matter too much, like the exact levels. It's just generally speaking, once you get to this late, it's just like, yeah, you're kind of just waiting for a couple more boss battles to pass to get the next move if you want it. So burn up is great. What burn up does is 140 base power, and it always burns, but you can only use it, you know, once until you have to switch out again to regain your fire typing back. So that's nice because it basically makes you typeless. So if you wanted to be typeless for a battle, it's niche to have. It's also nice to just have a 100% accurate move that burns. It's basically like a one-time use will-o-wisp that's also extremely fucking powerful. So it's really nice to have. And then you have Inferno, which is spammable but 70% accurate, and 10 base power weaker than burn up, being 130 base power. So I'm pretty sure I made burn up 130, 140. Yeah, I did. Inferno's 130, 70% accuracy. That's stronger than Thunder and Hurricane and Focus Blast in the vanilla games, so it's not like it's bad. It's just really inaccurate. You're going to be running Wide Lens, I would hope, or just being a fucking psychopath and running it anyways if you want. But yeah, with Wide Lens boosting 15% now as opposed to 10%, I buffed it. It will become 81% accurate, I believe, so that's not a lot better, a lot more reliable. Fire Vortex was 80% accurate, 130 base power, and it traps the opponent, so it deals for 12 turns, it deals 12% HP, so that's great, especially for the AI to use against you. It can really fuck you over and trap you in the battle if you switch something into it to check it. Now you can't switch back out unless you use Parting Shot or U-turn, which everything has for the most part, so like, you know, or you can use Infinite Eject button, whatever you need to do. But if you're unprepared, it can really fuck you over. That's why you gotta prepare for stuff. That's about it. I mean, not too much else to cover. I covered literally every coverage move. Setup wise, oh yeah, I didn't even mention Nasty Plot. Actually, no, I did. Nasty Plot's great. All right, Howl also has the same function, just better. The only downside being it's not reteachable, like I said. But Nasty Plot's great. Nasty Plot, Hubris. I mean, dude, he's a great Pokemon despite not having the dual typing. So I hope that Typhlosion lovers are happy with this. I used to be a Typhlosion guy. I'm more of a Feraligatr person. I think Feraligatr is cooler. But Typhlosion's cool. He's pretty chill. Not actually personality-wise, obviously, but you know, it's a cool Pokemon. Yeah. Thanks for listening to this one, and I'll be back for more soon. I'm gonna record Charizard soon. It'll be a longer video, so stay tuned for that one. Because I have to cover 2 fucking Megas and base Charizard and all of the other changes. It's gonna be a long one. Probably 40-ish minutes if I had to guess. So thanks for listening to this one, and I'll be back later. See you guys.